Thank you so much for choosing us. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. The top stories on our desk this evening: Zambia records 3 cases of Omicron. The United Party for National Development classifies critics as malicious. Retirees dribbled of their hard-earned money. In international news, at least 35 Ghanaians killed in yellow fever outbreak. And in sports news, Chelsea drops points in the English Premier League. Join me shortly for the details.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Once again, thank you for choosing us. The news in detail. Human Street Health Aid Zambia Executive Director Edgar Silemba says the move by government to look towards the provision of providing free sanitary wear to vulnerable girls and women is a step in the right direction. In October this year, the non-governmental organization held a peaceful demonstration demanding the removal of the tax imposed on imported sanitary wear. This week, government, through the Information Minister, announced that it will be giving free sanitary wear to vulnerable girls. Details in this report.
2 months ago, Human Street Health Aid Zambia, in partnership with other non-government organizations, held a peaceful demonstration at Parliament demanding the removal of the tax imposed on imported sanitary pads. The NGOs had submitted their petition before Parliament with the view that their plight can be heard.
16th of October, we'll be having our menstrual health tax removal demonstration walk from Lusaka Post Office to Parliament. The whole instance is to try and push government or parliamentarians to remove import tax on all menstrual sanitary products. And this is aimed at helping the businessmen who are into menstrual products to ease the burden of bringing the products into the country.
This week, the government, through the Information Minister, announced that it was going to be giving free sanitary pads to vulnerable girls. The organization has thanked the government for its response to their earlier petition.
Yes, we are very much delighted with government's intervention and response to our earlier petition which we submitted in October, demanding for the removal of duty on sanitary products. Earlier on this week, the Minister of Information, Honorable Chushika-san, announced that government will be supplying sanitary products to vulnerable girls and women in Zambia. And this is what we've been advocating for. And this is what we have been crying for as an organization. And together with our partners, Children's Future Society. So we are very much thankful to the government of President Hakainde Hichilema and the entire House, the parliamentarians, and all people who took interest to look into our petition and to ensure that the life and the pride of a girl child is taken into consideration. And my humble appeal is to all the would-be beneficiaries to embrace government's efforts, because this will in turn help the girl child achieve their full potential, their full academic potential, and better Zambia as a nation.
Miriam Kemba reporting for Camnet TV News.
An alleged fraudulent transaction of over 300,000 kwacha meant to pay retirees of 1999 between the years 2020 and 2021 have been unearthed. Complainants have told Camnet News that the said amount was not received by the 96% of the beneficiaries. It is believed that a single account number was used whose account is still not yet established. Meanwhile, the complainants have reported the matter to the Drug Enforcement Commission to investigate the transaction and establish who received the money. Details in this report.
An amount of 300,000 kwacha disbursed among 96 retirees of 1999 between the year 2020 and 2021 have allegedly gone missing. It is alleged that Minister of Finance released funds to pay these retirees. However, the money did not reach the intended beneficiaries. One of the victims, who pleaded anonymity, shows this journalist the missing links in this transaction, which include the use of a single account number whose owner is not yet established.
They ask for bank details from the retirees. After now asking bank details, it became a chance now for the accountants, the people in accounts and the administration, Minister of Finance and the governor with their choice. So if you multiply this, it will give you the sum total need.
Just
300,000 plus to look for these people. In which one you have found him is the one who is coming.
During this investigation, a couple of victims proved ignorant of the transaction, implied they did not at any point receive this money.
This one is for both of us.
For when they
This is joint account.
Now
when did they send?
No, they are saying you benefited on this account. The money was sent.
Because I remember it's about 2 years ago.
It's recently.
Maybe we haven't checked. We have not received anything this year.
you received any money in your account that is...
Just come again.
I've been just go to the bank to see if my account has been credited.
Okay, meaning you haven't accessed the funds already.
I'll try to go maybe in the afternoon. If not in the afternoon, maybe tomorrow.
The case has since been reported to the Drug Enforcement Commission for further investigations. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, in Lusaka.
Zambia has recorded its 3 first cases of the Omicron variant SARS-CoV-2, a variant that the World Health Organization has designated as variant of concern. Updating the nation on the COVID-19 situation, Health Minister Silva Masebo says among the 3 is a man living in Lusaka district with a history of recent international travel, another man who lives in Chiwombo district, and a woman in Lusaka district. The minister says it is not yet clear whether the Omicron is more easily spread from person to person compared to other variants, adding that the severity of the disease following infections with the Omicron variant is yet to be understood. Meanwhile, Ms. Masebo has encouraged members of the public to continue taking the COVID-19 vaccine, stating that the current vaccines remain effective against severe disease and death.
On the 3rd of December 2021, through our genomic sequencing laboratory at the University of Zambia School of Veterinary Medicine, detected 3 SARS-CoV-2 Omicron variant, which isolates among samples from individuals who tested positive for COVID-19 in the last 1 week. I'll repeat that. Zambia yesterday, on the 3rd of December 2021, through our genomic sequencing laboratory at the UNZA School of Veterinary Medicine, did detect 3 SARS-CoV-2 Omicron variant isolates from among samples from individuals who tested positive for COVID-19 in the last 1 week.
A social scientist, Innocent Kolala, has charged that calls to abolish the office of the district commissioner are unfounded and must not be entertained. Mr. Kolala says the office of the district commissioner is vital because it serves as a bridge between the local government and the central government. He, however, tells Camnet News that it is important that district commissioners conduct themselves above partisan politics in order to restore the dignity of their office. Details in this.
The failure by district commissioners to stay away from partisan politics in the past has made them become irrelevant to the country's development agenda. A district commissioner is the senior-most civil servant at district level. He or she reports directly to the President of the Republic of Zambia. The DC's role is to supervise and monitor all government projects, supervise civil servants at district level. Being a top civil servant, the DC should be well qualified and well vested in areas of development and governance. I spoke to a social scientist, Innocent Kolala, to find out what he thinks about scrapping off the office of the district commissioner.
Removing that position, I was wondering, even when I think it used to come up during the campaign period, but it is understandable. It's more or less like when you have a funeral. As in Bemba, we say, so during the period of campaign, people, they say anything, just for the sake of wanting people to put them in power. But of course, that institution is a very, very important institution because it's not only being created now, even during our time, the time of our colonial masters, we used to have the political secretaries in the districts, those who were going around together with the governor, whom they were also taking around to collect the revenue and so forth. We used to have such.
He believes DCs are vital in enforcing the government programs.
Run his function because the president is supposed to be in Siavonga, a president is supposed to be in Luwingu, a president is supposed to be in Chafuma, a president is supposed to be in Sinazeze, a president is supposed to be in Vubwi. But how do you expect this one person to be found in all these areas? He's supposed to have an eye for him, and that's the reason why you and I, the rest Zambians, we have said you are going to create an institution which will help you to run the governance system. That's the reason why the district commissioners are there as IAs of the central government or as IAs of the president. Therefore, the functions are totally different which the local government are performing and such of the district commissioner.
This important position was reduced to a political office of the certain political party. Hence, citizens expected the UPND government to scrap off the district commissioners' positions because they are a drain to the treasury. But Mr. Kolala emphasized the need for DCs to stay away from partisan politics.
Office to me is a very, very important office. The only problem is that it has over-politicized. Look at some of the appointees, not only in this government, but even in the previous governments. Most of these are more of appeasement kind of appointment. Maybe even people who have no understanding in the civil service are the ones who are being given such portfolios, because we require someone who will be able to interpret what are the problems in Ministry of Health, the problem in Ministry of Education, problems in Ministry of Agriculture, because he is the highest public servant, civil servant in a district. If that was a way, that position could have been promotional, so that they could have been promoting the hard-working civil servant.
Are we going to see change in the conduct of district commissioners under the New Dawn government? For now, we can only wait and see as events unfold. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
National Democratic Congress leader Saboyi Mboila has given the ruling United Party for National Development Administration a performance rating of 2 out of 10 during their first 100 days in office. Speaking when she featured on the Camnet TV breakfast show Saturday, Ms. Mboila charges that her rating is based on the ability to combat the infiltration of cadres in public facilities and good communication by President Hakainde Hichilema. She says so far the UPND administration seems off track based on the campaign promises. She has, however, acknowledged that 100 days is not adequate to assess the UPND fully.
Well, the rating for me is...
out of 10?
2 out of 10.
And why do you say so?
I say 2 out of 10 because I've seen only them do only about 2 things, you know. Number one, which is the issue of cadres. You know, on that one, they've been serious. They've shown a little bit of seriousness, you know, but they have not eliminated cadres. You know, the cadres are still there. You know, so we want them to completely eliminate the cadres from the streets. But we are mindful of the fact that what they have done now is so much better than it was before, because it was not safe to be in the markets, in the stations way back, you know, but now at least they've really tried. But the cadres are still there. You know, the markets and the stations bred those people who are brothers and sisters because they don't have jobs, you know. So even now, they felt that they have been pushed away from their source of income, you know, and no wonder they are pushing back. So if the UPND is really going to win, even with the issue of the cadres, they need to do they need to ensure that they provide employment, you know, because the cadre thing is not necessarily a cadre problem, but it's an employment problem. So once they sort out the employment issue, then definitely the issue of cadres is going to be eliminated. Then number 2, where I give the UPND a +4, is the issue of communication. You know, the president is a very good communicator. You know, I think in the past, I think what President Lungu did not do well for us was not to communicate with us. Even at a time whereby we needed him to say something which was critical for the nation, he never came out to speak to us. You know, so thank God that President HH is actually speaking.
Meanwhile, United Party for National Development Deputy Secretary General Gertrude Emenda has charged the opposition political parties underrating the UPND performance in the first 100 days are malicious. In an interview with Camnet News, Ms. Emenda says the opposition parties must offer credible checks and balances to the government as opposed to creating falsehood.
With the UPND Alliance-led government having clocked 100 days in office since its victory in the 12 August general elections, those who hold high expectations toward the government have spoken positively, while some, especially those in the opposition, sound negative and disgruntled. It may be common knowledge that no one would expect those from opposition, especially those aligned to the Patriotic Front Party, to speak favorable of the party in government.
New dawn, I don't know if it's new down. Get to work for the people of Zambia, regardless of where they are. And to their slogan, the only thing we are seeing going forward is dollar against kwacha, which was supposed to drop from mid-morning to the sunset of being inaugurated. Now, we are saying this is what the government should focus on.
And PEP President Sean Tembo, who is also among the top critics, has rated the UPND 100 days in office at 0%. In an article posted on his Facebook page, Mr. Tembo has rated the government effort in bringing the rule of law at 0%, addressing the cost of living at 0%, among other issues he raised. However, despite receiving all this criticism from different opposition parties, the UPND still maintains it has exceptionally performed wonderfully in the last 100 days.
It's their duty as opposition parties to criticize, isn't it? Although what I think is that criticism should also be in both directions, right? Where there's need for commendation, they should comment. Where there's need to condemn, yes, they can condemn. But it's wholesome to say we've got a 0. Come on, even Mr. Sean Tembo knows that is not true. But maybe he's relating to the zeros that he was getting as in the votes. So he wants to bring those zeros to UPND, which scored quite high. But really, we have done a lot. First of all, we have re-established respect for the rule of law. There was so much lawlessness in the past during the past regime.
Miriam Kempa, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Meanwhile, the UPND has cautioned the Patriotic Front that political provocation will not be condoned in the forthcoming parliamentary by-election in Kawata constituency. The Kawata seat fell vacant following the demise of Area Member of Parliament Levi Mukandawire, and the Electoral Commission of Zambia is yet to set the date for the poll. UPND Deputy National Youth Chairperson Politics and Mobilization Trevor Mwinde says the UPND wants law and order to prevail in order for the people to choose a leader freely. Mr. Mwinde says the PF should not think they can still thrive in politics of violence and intimidation, saying that time is long gone.
Very softly, because if they continue with the culture of guns, we are now requesting as the citizens that are living in fear that instead of us dying at the hands of these merciless cadres that are bloodthirsty and that are power hungry, it would be better that the police then do search us, including myself. If I'm found wanting by the law, let me go to jail, because it is not good or proper to keep people that are loose cannon, that are going to be firing at each and every woman they see wearing a red t-shirt, intimidating our people. We have heard they are grouping in their bars, they are grouping in the back doors of their houses. But if they continue, they push us in a corner, we have got no option. We will not be able to remain. We are also human beings. It will not be that we should call maybe the IG every day. We have been calling. So we are almost getting tired of giving reports of saying they were calling us cry babies. We don't want to get back to them. Yes, because the energies we have. Yes, the energies we have, and we are human beings. So before we are rattled to the war, we appeal to our friends in the largest opposition political party, which is the PF, to behave themselves.
Economic and Equity Party leader Chilufya Tayali has charged that the opposition Patriotic Front has no moral right to complain about petitions when they used similar tactics to solidify the party's strength in parliament. So far, 9 parliamentary seats which were won by the Patriotic Front in the August 12th polls have been nullified due to electoral malpractices, among other reasons. And Mr. Tayali tells Camnet News that inasmuch as he does not agree with the high number of election petitions witnessed so far, the PF did the same thing to the UPND when they were in government. He explains that he sees no difference between the UPND and the Patriotic Front, apart from what he described as different personalities between former President Edgar Lungu and President Hakainde Hichilema. He underscored the need for strong opposition to keep the UPND administration in check so that it meets people's aspirations.
In the community, not in court. So when you come up with these petitions, I'm really not so much in favor of it. But that is me. I don't think the PF should say the same thing. Why? Because the PF have been one of the parties that has been, petitioning seats. Remember when they came, they petitioned 50 seats. In 2011, when PF won, when they came into power, they petitioned 50 seats. Of course, the UPND have petitioned more. And of course, even along the way, the PF as well, they can't claim to be so holy. We are quite shrewd, and they are quite shrewd in the way they play or they manipulate the electoral regulations. They manipulate them, the electoral regulations. We have seen in certain cases, you see where a member of parliament, is going for nomination, all of a sudden they buy him and the person disappears. You remember those instances. So, for me, this is why when I look at the UPND and the PF, these are pretty much the same. The PF, the UPND suffered some of the manipulations of the PF, and now they are in power. They are also doing the same thing to the PF. So these people really, PF and UPND, I don't see much difference. The only thing that I see, which is a difference, is that President Edgar Lungu and Hakainde Hichilema, they are two different, they've got two different personalities. That's all. But when you go to the members, all of them, they are pretty much the same. They're just the same. Look at the vice president. The modus operandi, it's pretty much the same of, the previous vice president. Then go to the ministers. These people are just the same.
About 150,000 bags of fertilizer and 30,000 bags of maize seed under the Farmer Input Support Program have been dispatched in Southern Province. Speaking when he inspected the Provincial Food Reserve Agency storage, Southern Province Minister Cornelius Mweta expressed confidence that government will next week dispatch the remaining quantities. He answered government is committed to ensuring that the country has enough food.
It is estimated that Southern Province has approximately 1.6 million small-scale farms and 1,000 large-scale farms which are constantly in need of farming inputs. To this effect, government has dispatched more than 158,000 bags of fertilizer and more than 30,000 bags of maize seed under the Farmer Input Support Program to the Southern Province, translating into more than 85% of the required inputs. And Southern Province Minister Cornelius Mweta said when he toured the Food Reserve Agency provincial storage that he is confident government will dispatch the remaining quantities within the course of next week.
So this goes to answer speculations that have dominated the media space, social media, to say some supplier of fertilizer for the Southern Province has failed to deliver, linking such to one particular minister and so on. The New Dawn administration is there as a government for all, and it is run by His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema and his administration for and on behalf of the people of Zambia. It's not run by, cartels of individuals dealing in government program.
Mr. Mweta said government is committed to ensuring that the country has enough food, hence its dispatch of the inputs.
Cartels of individuals dealing in government programs. Like we've indicated before, the suppliers of this fertilizer in the Southern Province have been suppliers before. We haven't contracted any new supplier. So like we indicated, they would deliver. They have delivered. This is a fertilizer. So we would like to urge citizens to brush off stories that we're doing media circulation about fertilizer and seed crisis in the Southern Province. As you have seen, facts speak for themselves.
It is government's desire to ensure that the country's food security is enhanced. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
You're watching Camnet News. Just now, we take our first set of commercials. When we return, we have more interesting stories. Stay with us.
This is the Rusitu Irrigation Project. It's a government project funded by the World Bank through IDSP.
The project involved laying over 18 kilometers worth of interlinked water pipes that will supply water to the 280 hectares land for small-scale and commercial farmers in Lusitu of Chirundu district. We worked on 35 kilometers of the road network and also constructed 159 concrete water hydrants of different sizes in all 3 tiers. The state-of-the-art water pumping station at the banks of the Zambezi is fitted with 9 water pumps, a dedicated concrete reservoir, a 500 kV automated standby generator, a fully automated pump switching system that is interlinked with a second reservoir of 27,000 cubic liters capacity, which is fitted with 7 water pumps, a standby generator and floater tanks for that extra water pressure on the irrigation lines. Savenda Construction is grateful to the Zambian government and the World Bank for giving us the opportunity to be part of the history of Lusitu, as the project will benefit over 282 households once completed and is just one of the many that Savenda Construction has embarked on, owing to its track record and capacity to deliver as per requirement. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
spirit of infirmity, never had a legal right in here anymore because she was healed in her soul. He also took care of that accusation in the court where he said, I loose you, and that means to acquit someone of a crime.
Why does he say, be strong and be courageous, Mamutale? Number one, you've got to be strong. You've got to be courageous when claiming the things that belong to you.
If you're up against principalities and powers,
en contra de
and Satan is
principados
knocking you around,
y el enemigo te está dando contra ti,
put praise on in your car.
pon alabanza.
Put praise on.
So we must learn to depend on the Holy Spirit to tell us what these things are and what's the next thing and what the church ought to be doing rather than conform to everything that is going on.
He says, you're blessed. He says, flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father.
He will preach the gospel with great power and influence, I say, even to the nations of the earth. And I began to prophesy his destiny. As I did that, the Spirit of the Lord said, now rebuke the spirit of depression.
The mystery of your unfulfilled prophecy is found in what I'm saying today if you hear what the Spirit is saying, because the King is speaking.
That everything that God has given you will flourish because you have his mind like never before in Jesus' mighty precious name.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying on. A renowned author and clergy, Dr. Francis Miles, has underscored the need for the church to be playing a guiding role in the fight against the COVID-19. Speaking at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, United States of America-based clergy has noted that the church still remains a vital institution in the fight against the pandemic. Meanwhile, Dr. Miles has commended Zambia for demonstrating a peaceful power transition during the 2021 general election and calls for continuity of good governance in the country. Dr. Miles will be officiating the upcoming conference slated for December 15th to 18th, 2021, dubbed Operating in the Courts of Heaven, Africa Edition.
Well, it's to understand that, biblically speaking, if you look at the history of the Bible, whenever kings dedicate nations to God, God took on the responsibility of being the healer and the protector of the nation. We see that in the Bible. Whenever kings died, 30 years ago, President Frederick Chiluba dedicated Zambia as a Christian nation. So the truth of the matter is, you know, the Lord of Zambia, who is Jesus, is going to heal the nation, because really, a politician cannot really heal what's going on. Only God can heal. Nothing to fear, and most importantly, in Zambia where people are faith, and for the church, is just to make sure that we become a guiding light of faith. Because like I said, we need to avoid, the church can help the nation avoid the pandemic of fear.
Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Simata says government has put up measures that will ensure that the social cash transfer program is not politicized. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Simata says the program is aimed at alleviating poverty in the country. He observes that during the previous regime, the program was highly politicized, thereby hiding beneficiaries from accessing the services. He adds that the social cash transfer program is open to every community member in Kamwala Ward 5 who are vulnerable and persons with disabilities. He adds that identification of beneficiaries in Ward 5 is done according to levels of vulnerability and not political affiliation.
As you
you're aware, the Ministry of Community Development has also increased the number of people that are going to be accommodated on the social cash transfer. So the social cash transfer, we are looking at putting people on board that are vulnerable. We're talking about child-headed households. We're talking about the aged that can no longer fend for themselves. We are talking about vulnerable young people and also the disabled. So the social cash transfer, we are urging our people in various wards to take advantage of the social cash transfer. And if there have been those that have been left out, because the period for allocation for this year has closed, but we want to assure them that in January, the window for applications for those that would want to be included on the social cash transfer, those that qualify. The previous regime, the PF regime, was not well administered. It was heavily politicized, and even when people were brought on board, they were not really paid the amounts that are entitled to be getting. So what we want to do is we want to restructure the way the social cash transfer is administered. That has to start with the selection process. The selection process won't be based on political or partisan lines. It will be open to every Zambian that is vulnerable and qualifies to be put on board the social cash transfer. As far as payments are concerned, they are going to be on time, and that's why the period for this year has closed, because they want to make payments in January. At the same time, community development will be making payments for social cash transfer. They'll also be opening it up for inclusion of more people to be able to benefit.
Chongwe District Commissioner Evans Lupea says digitalization has the ability to cut costs and enhance efficiency in the service delivery chain, hence the need for citizens to embrace technology. Through the Ministry of Science and Technology, the New Dawn administration is pushing a digitalization agenda that will transform the lives of Zambians in as far as accessing services is concerned. Speaking when he officiated at the opening of the Zamdo Service Center at Waterfall Mall in Chongwe Saturday, Mr. Lupea has called on other businesses to consider setting up a presence in the area. Meanwhile, Zamtel Senior Manager Enterprise Sales Warrior Chawaya says the firm stands ready with the government through the Ministry of Science and Technology in partnership with other independent developers in creating local digital solutions that will address local challenges.
The government is pushing a digitalization agenda that will transform the lives of Zambians in as far as accessing services is concerned. His Excellency, President Hakainde Hichilema, has underscored the importance of digitalization in service delivery as it helps fight corruption, because there is reduced human contact. We urge Zambians to start adopting digital lifestyles, especially with the advent of COVID-19, as it can cut the spread of the virus. We believe Zamtel should play a critical role in this digital transformation journey. Given its strategic role in Zambia's development, we believe Zamtel should be at the center of championing digitalization initiatives.
Like for most businesses, the year 2021 has been both challenging and exciting. We've learned to live and operate under the new normal as COVID-19 ravaged our communities. It was also a year when the Zambian people ushered in the New Dawn administration, which has prioritized the development of digitally connected Zambia. As the leading digital service provider, we are elated by the focus on digitalization by the New Dawn government. We believe digitalization has the greatest potential to accelerate Zambia development prospect and create the much-needed jobs for our people, especially the youths. As Zamtel, we stand ready to work with the Zambian government through the means of science and technology in a partnership with other independent developers in creating local digital solutions that will address our local challenges.
This is Camnet News. We take another set of commercials. When we return, we have sports and international news. Stay with us.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry. There's so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow! Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
This is the Rusitu irrigation project. It's a government project funded by the World Bank through IDSP.
The project involved laying over 18 kilometers worth of interlinked water pipes that will supply water to the 280 hectares land for small-scale and commercial farmers in Lusitu of Chirundu district. We worked on 35 kilometers of the road network and also constructed 159 concrete water hydrants of different sizes in all 3 tiers. The state-of-the-art water pumping station at the banks of the Zambezi is fitted with 9 water pumps, a dedicated concrete reservoir, a 500 kV automated standby generator, a fully automated pump switching system that is interlinked with a second reservoir of 27,000 cubic liters capacity, which is fitted with 7 water pumps, a standby generator, and floater tanks for that extra water pressure on the irrigation lines. Savenda Construction is grateful to the Zambian government and the World Bank for giving us the opportunity to be part of the history of Lusitu, as the project will benefit over 282 households once completed, and is just one of the many that Savenda Construction has embarked on, owing to its track record and capacity to deliver as per requirement. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Thank you for staying on. In international news, yellow fever in Ghana has caused the deaths of at least 35 people over the past 2 months. With dozens more suspected infections, the government is trying to secure 400,000 doses of the vaccine from the World Health Organization. Here's a roundup of international stories.
Waiting to be examined by a doctor. These patients are here to protect themselves from yet another deadly virus. Yellow fever has killed dozens in Ghana's West Gunja district, but health officials here say despite the rising number of cases, deaths are slowing down.
Wherever we identify cases in the community, we go in there to look for more cases. We do a case search and we vaccinate those who are not protected against the disease.
Yellow fever is transmitted through the bite of an infected mosquito. Symptoms are mild and can develop up to 9 days after exposure. but about 15% of those infected develop serious illness that can lead to potentially fatal bleeding and organ failure. Cases have been detected across a wide age range, from 4 months to 70 years, with women accounting for more than half of the cases in Ghana. There are concerns the government is downplaying the number of those infected and not all cases are being reported.
You look at the numbers and then you also look at what is on the ground. It appears all the cases are not reported, simply because of the lack of education. And so the health people need to do a lot in terms of sensitizing our people to get to know what the virus is all about, how they can detect early signs and how they can report.
There are also concerns about shortage of vaccines. Ghana is trying to secure 400,000 doses from the World Health Organization and hoping they are able to contain the outbreak before it becomes more widespread. Hamera Chaudhry, Al Jazeera.
The Botswana scientist, who may well have discovered the Omicron variant of the coronavirus, said he has been on a roller coaster of emotions with the pride of accomplishment followed by dismay. Dr. Shikulile Moyo, a virologist at the Botswana Harvard-AIDS Institute partnership, termed his new discovery as dramatic and also transparent.
Transparent enough, we've checked our processes are fine, and we let the sequence go. And that triggered an alert. So we are not saying that we described the new variant, no, but we deposited a sequence that caused virologists to say, yeah, something is going on here.
Omicron variant has startled scientists because it has more than 50 mutations. Dr. Maya further expressed disappointment following drastic action by some few countries to ban travel from affected countries.
Is that how you reward science, by blacklisting countries? And I think that was a bit sad for us as scientists. And I think we were discussing that, because we are looking, we have systematic surveillance. We are looking every time. You never know, you'll see something new, but we are always surveying.
Little is known about the variant and the world is watching nervously. It's not clear if it makes people more seriously ill or can evade the vaccine, but early evidence suggests it might be more contagious and more efficient at reinfecting people who have heard about COVID-19.
The fears about another wave, yeah, they are justified, but the response is not justified. We should be having robust response systems and collaborate. Now we know that the virus does not know passport or does not know borders. So, but now we should be collaborating and understanding how do we respond.
In the coming weeks, labs around the world will be working to find out what to expect from Omicron variant and just how dangerous it is.
Well, that's it for international news. We go straight into sports news. West Ham has beat leaders Chelsea 3-2, courtesy of Afam Sauka's bizarre late goal on Saturdays, as Liverpool climbed to the top of the Premier League with that last gasp winner against Wolves. Thomas Tuchel admitted Chelsea paid the price for too many individual mistakes, as Arthur Forfeut's late winner gave West Ham a shock 3-2 victory on Saturday. It was the Blues' first defeat in their last 13 games in all competitions, and their spell at the top of the Premier League might be over by Saturday evening. Well, that's where we wrap up our news this evening. The headlines once again. Zambia records 3 cases of Omicron. The United Party for National Development classifies critics as malicious. Retirees dribbled of their hard-earned money. And in international news, 35 Ghanaians killed in yellow fever outbreak. In sports, Chelsea draw points in the English Premier League. We look at the Camnet verse for the day, and it's coming from Romans 13 verse 1-2, and it reads, "Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, For there is no authority except that which God has established. The authority that exists have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment to themselves. That's all we had for you on the desk. Thank you so much for choosing us. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Good night and keep watching Camnet TV.